Hi, I'm Joshua Edwards, and this is my first book, Campeche, which is forthcoming from Noemi Press, April 1st. The book is a collaboration with my father, Van Edwards, who's a photographer. So, besides my poems and a few translations, um, there are 40 photographs by him, uh, some of which are directly related to my poems, but most of which are sort of just thematically related or exist in some sort of ambiguous relationship with the poems. Um, so it was a real pleasure to be able to collaborate with him on my first book because his work definitely influenced my aesthetics and uh, yeah. So the book title Campeche is taken from the pirate Jean Lafitte's name for Galveston Island when he had a sort of a pirate kingdom there in the early 1800s. I'm from Galveston, and I grew up there until I was 5, at which point my family moved up the coast to another island, Clear Lake Shores. So the book is largely sort of obsessive about the ocean and weather, hurricanes, floods, um, and the kind of the community that develops near the ocean. Um, I won't say too much about it other than that I guess it also draws a bit from the symbolists, especially Paul Valery. Two of the central poems of the book um, take their form from a great poem by Valery called "Song of the Columns," um, and this is one of those poems. This is Leviathan. Love of air and water, joined in apprehension, perhaps you know what's there by way of fear for while, living in pursuit of and always going forth towards something that trembles, its knowledge is your mind. What do you think about the great ocean's sullen aristocrats? These small headaches and dark affairs that bathe themselves in your staging grounds, where you go to contemplate how what you want became your mind. The black oblivion offers no reprieve for you, hunter. In its keep, your ears have grown too sharp, so sharp you almost hear your own heartbeat over the subtle whispers of water's dismal gardens. Everything about you is overblown, even your mouth is uniquely talented at its tasks, gathering for slaughter animals in their sleep, speaking without a sound. Noah had 7 laws, you have only one: eat, to build life out of death, survive above all things. The fatalistic moon, filtered down upon you, seems an imitation of lives you will not live. Would you be its hero? Would you call out against the morning's weaving light that shames the night before the passing of its cool? Would you be at the beach when the invisible becomes a glow to surprise? Inland, workers dreaming of Unitarian proposals lose no sleep to fear about your mouth. It is their wayward friends who wandered too far west into fevered chaos that wake up with your name as screams exploding dreams. The inland ether holds clouds in your dismal shape. Lucky are those who know nothing, who cannot see hell outlined in vapor. Somewhere a piano plays a sorrowful song half written by the hate that a grieving loved one would stick into your heart. Such are the arts of men. Beware, your time is near. Someone has learned lessons you didn't mean to teach. A crowd is gathering. Your skull is their kingdom. The book also has a lot of really formal poems, some sonnets, and the title section is composed mostly of sonnets. And I'll read a sonnet from the Campeche section called Drift. And this is the photo that goes with it. I have heard the dogs barking, each to each beneath a stormy moon. They will survive their masters, who are so caught up in speech they do not see the rising sea, but hive instead in their low mistaken vantage. Where carbon rises up in plumes, I plan a leave of absence. I have seen footage of violent waves bearing down on man outside his very door. Lives come apart like books when they get wet. The devil fell compelled by love, undone because his heart could not keep up with what it would compel. I've watched the water bring its cleavage to the shore. Departure starts my voyage. The book begins with a section um, of poems sort of spoken by a narrator who is in some community that is has an impending flood. And I'll begin with the beginning poem, which is called Late Morning. In a vending machine, I see my reflection alongside the sun's, and I watch these two impervious flowers of being merge, transpose, and dehice, faces ghosted together on parallel planes of glass, laughing over the foaming ocean. To imagine the self as the sun or its warmth is pleasurable, but something else is needed to purge the urban smell from the dank library of late morning. Walking along the seawall, I feel waves and wind beating against the island's rocks and shoulders. I see citizens filled with sorrow that expands as water orchestrates their slow effacement. Just as I arrive home, two salesmen accost me. They want to sell me my preternatural face. They tell me that although time is running out, I can still find happiness, romance, and eternity. I reply that I believe in an impersonal life. I'm hermetic, and my blood is on fire. Um, so, let's see. The final section in the book is called Anxiety Sutra. Um, and I'll read one of the sections from it. It's in tercets, long line tercets. And this one is called Discovery of Limits. Coming back, I remember sitting on the shelf, spine broken, feeling a loneliness no partnership could quench. Like a canary perched on a magic lantern, my mind anticipated and experimented. I joined a parade, I learned Spanish and a little Mandarin, and after sunrise, I preferred to be naked, preferably naked with a saint, in a swimming pool in the backyard of a large home in a gated community. I visited monasteries with bare feet and an open-ended bus ticket. My heart had a loose hinge, but it meant that I was truly American. I woke and slept while asleep and awake. I pulled the shade, and epitaphs for sleep made waves in half-words. Beneath the bridge, boys and girls shouted. 7 billion instruments walked to work in the city on a hillside. Now I shiver as I watch a decaying plantation mansion burn to the ground. The process called evening spills over my corner of the planet, producing the appearance of childhood, the sharp mustard between a meat of personality and the cheese of belonging. I whisper a manifesto, an old transcript from some half-heaven, because I am not sweet or funny anymore. I am a hermit in a white tent in a dark forest. Everything I know is wrong. Life is a graveyard, and I am unprepared for ghosts. And I guess I'll read one more from the beginning section. This is the final part of the first section of the book, and it's called Farewell. In a pillowcase one could hide the brays and lows of this place's final days, when chimes will sound in the fields to smuggle mutiny into the lively brains of parking lot attendants. Where is that fabled stairway to the sky? Why worship doors covered in calendars? The questions never end. Take, for example, the aquarium. It forms a strangeness with its sound to make worldly nonsense visible behind glass walls, like a dream perhaps, meant to teach us how to prepare ourselves for end points obscured by fiction and fog, at times too serious, at others not serious enough. I organize life with old ideas, in silence, and with a cosmic sense of nature failing, I set off into southern wilderness to seek some subtle center, as elusive as a crisp dollar bill in the spillway of a penny arcade. So, so that's my first book. Um, again, with photographs by my father, Van Edwards. Um, and yeah, thanks for your time. And maybe I'm going on tour in March, so if you see me in your town, please come by and say hi to us.